welcome to the top secret base. The top secret location of the automated infinite diamond factory. Check it out. 64 diamonds so far. It's basically using the E3 or the E04 technology and fabricators. Da-da-da-da. It's now used up all the gold out of the chest there and turned it into 13 diamonds. Now when this is running at full speed, this cobblestone generator, which is switched to obsidian, it's basically igneous extruder, connected up to an infinite lava in the nether, infinite water using an aqueous accumulator, making infinite obsidian. Infinite obsidian gets put into the chest. Infinite obsidian then gets put through the iron creation, which is minimum stones once again. Yeah, nice and simple. We just put the stone in there and away we go. Then it pumps out into here and we get iron and a minimum stone that converts it from iron into gold. Doodart's back. And then from gold into the diamonds. It's all basic minimum stone technology, but fully automated. Now this is set up to our lava tank in the nether, which needs moving every now and again to make it an infinite source. When we get a lava world in Mistcraft, even better. So yeah, it's a very straightforward system that creates infinite shiny things. You can also use the wood. And speaking of wood, I'm going to go over to the farm to show you the infinite cycle there. But it's that simple, guys. It's 1, 2, 3 steps to a diamond from obsidian, and you can make infinite obsidian. So therefore, you can make infinite diamonds. If you don't want the diamonds, you can turn that part of the process off, and you'll get infinite gold. And if you don't want infinite gold, how about infinite iron? All just quickly turned off. Now I've got 3 more fabricators here, and I'm going to rip all of this out and just have the 3 fabricators, because fabricators take from the neighboring inventory. So this chest here is the neighboring inventory, and this fabricator will try and find gold from neighboring inventories to make diamonds. When you put 2 fabricators next to each other, it does a similar thing, that the fabricator there has an inventory that's full of gold because it's just made a load of gold, and this fabricator then reads it. I'll show you both in just a second when I head out into the main base. And here's an example of another infinite. This one using fabricators next to each other, but you manually push things into the fabricators. I could automate it fully, but I don't particularly need any of these fully automated. So for a start off, we've got an energy cell, which currently isn't using any energy out of it at all because the machines aren't active. This energy tesseract beams energy into it from the workshop over there, where we generate all the power. So it's there so that it'll constantly fill this energy cell to 600,000 megajoules in order to be able to power this whenever we need it. But it doesn't take the power unless we need it. Down here we've got another extruder, this time making cobblestone. It has water and lava, and as we all know, that makes a cobblestone generator which just generates cobblestone, and it will simply just never-ending supply of cobblestone. It doesn't even use any power. It just makes cobblestone. So type that in and make one of those if you want infinite cobblestone. It's very, very simple to build. Next we have a pulverizer. Pulverizing the infinite cobblestone. This, however, does take power, but not a lot to push out the sand. And as a byproduct, you sometimes get gravel. There's a 10% chance you're going to get gravel. So we'll see that as well. Now both the sand and the gravel are exiting into this chest here. I could make the chest bigger, I could have a cycle going into another machine, but this is basically all I need. We have this set up so that it outputs on the right hand side, inputs on the left hand side. Very, very simple. So it takes the cobblestone in and pushes sand and gravel out. Now, sand and gravel aren't exactly the things that we need in the world, but a little bit of an excess stock is always nice. So let's take 2 more out of here, and the pulverizer will automatically be filling it with sand, which is awesome. So we've always got that huge amount of sand and huge amount of gravel from this little system. Whenever we use sand, it just reappears. It's like a sand generator that we hardly have to pull any energy into. You see, it's taking a little bit, pushing a bit back, taking a little bit, pushing a bit back. And then we've got a powered furnace as well. Again, using the power, and we can just make infinite glass. Because when we want glass, we want lots of it. And that again is pumping out from this side. Just to make an infinite glass. So we don't have to go and mine sand. We don't have to go and mine gravel. And we don't have to cook it all to make glass very often. We can just stick a stack in there and walk away. So when we take a bit, we then put some sand in there and it's going back. These fabricators are now set up to make the sandstone blocks. All of these sandstone blocks that you see. So the basic one here starts off, and this is an example of the inventories working together. This one here is set to make sandstone. So you put the sand into it, and it automatically crafts it into sandstone. So I've got sandstone there. Just automatically, it just stores the crafting recipe and just goes for it. Now that one's permanently on at the minute because it doesn't go anywhere. This one is currently set to needing a signal, which means I'd have to put a lever up on the wall there to do it, or you can just manually go and turn it on. And when you turn it on, it will have this automatic process where it turns 4 sandstone into smooth stone. The thing about this is it never stacks, it seems, in this particular choice here. It only takes it and remakes it as you take it out. So I can take an infinite amount out so long as I've got the sandstone in the other chest, which is here. So as long as I've got sandstone there, it will put it into the fabricator. These fabricators are cool with this little display here as well. Next to that, we have sandstone slabs. Now if I take a sandstone slab set out and turn it on, it will just refill the sandstone slabs. Turn it off, and again you see that the sandstone there has just gone down. It just automatically sorts everything out. What a machine, a fabricator. Gotta love it. And then the final fabricator here takes slabs and turns it into chiseled sandstone. So you can just make a ton of chiseled sandstone. Now the system is just to save on crafting, having to sit there and craft things all the time. Constantly crafting sand and digging sand is not what we really need in life. So this has made things a hell of a lot easier in our sand warehouse. I'll probably put some barrels along here to store stock, but we don't really need to store stock. I mean, how much sand do you need? How much gravel do you need? How much glass will you need? How much of the sandstone blocks do you need? All of which is very, very easy to come by in the builder's yard. One other thing that we've got to show you here, just about the automated everything, is the farm. Now the farm is currently still a work in progress. I've got to put the floor down here, tidy it up a bit, and figure out what I'm going to do with this area. I don't know yet. But this is basically the automated farm. At the minute, it's got a few little problems still. It gets a little bit sluggish. As you can see, it's not doing things quite as fast. It's not getting the materials quite as fast as it should in order to do things. The wheat farm's fine. The wheat farm's constantly churning out. and the wheat farm churns out directly into the bakery. So directly over here I've got some pipes running, so you could see them just down there. I'll show you where the input is in a minute. Basically all the wheat from the farm just comes straight over here into this chest, where Fred the baker turns it all into bread automatically. So I am living off bread, quite necessarily. We also have automated apples, and the apples just arrive and just fill the chest. And I've set up the farm shop quite nice. This dude's still here. He's still selling his melons. Not that we need to buy any melons, but yeah, he's selling them, so he's here. And this guy here on the cooked food has got raw fish. Excellent choice. Whereas the cooked fish is up there for some reason. We could cook it in the furnace as well, that's another idea. And he's selling cooked chicken. So overall it's a nice little shop with some counters and some workplaces. Basically storing all the food that we'll ever need as warlords. We'll just be able to come here for food whenever we want it. Bakery and meaty snacks completed. Right, the actual workings of the farm underneath. Now this area that I'm standing in now, I'm planning on turning into a warehouse for the wood from here. All of this, turn it into a wood stores. This floor's going to come out because there's going to be planks above. And so far, quite a healthy amount of wood. And fairly well automated. I've been messing with pneumatic piping and filters and relays and things just to keep things going. So let's say, for example, the wheat farm here. Wheat and seeds are produced. The diamond pipe sorts them into the two different lanes. Wheat goes into the relay and the seeds go back up and around into the planter. Now at the moment, any excess stock will pop out and just go on the floor. Got to do something about that because we can put it in the squeezer to make seed oil. But the wheat just goes into the pneumatic tubes and heads down the pneumatic tubes and exits and goes to the farm shop to be turned into bread. Nice and simple. All of the wood from the wood farms is just getting stored in barrels here. And I will have some automated processes in here, possibly a sawmill and maybe even a little obsidian generator. And you know where the obsidian's going? Into the diamond farm. This section over here is where the wood and all that comes out, and the saplings and that go the other different directions. Sand is being filtered out down to that pipe, and saplings and apples are being filtered out this way. The apples automatically go through this filter to head out and follow in to the farm shop. And this filter here filters out the saplings. Excellent, eh? And the saplings go straight into an item tesseract, which basically sends them to where we've got our fermenters and just constantly fills our fermenters up. And any excess goes into the chest to be pumped out into the tesseract after a little while. We've got one coming now. Go on, in you go. Chest or tesseract into the chest, then straight out of the chest into the item tesseract. I've found that going straight into the item tesseract doesn't necessarily work, but sometimes it goes straight in there when it's going towards the chest. But the chest is important, it seems, just to make sure this system still works. I still am working on tidying up everything to make things neat and tidy. I'm quite pleased with how tidy this section here is, and I'm quite pleased with how tidy the farm itself is at the minute. This section over here was like the first section I made, and it's very untidy. I've got a lot to change with this, but also there's a problem with the amount of dirt that we're getting from the farm. Overall, the dirt we get back profit-wise, dirt profit is 2 blocks of dirt profit from the system going through. And not enough sand, it seems, either, because this is set up to make bog earth for the bog earth farm, the peat farm. It needs a water bucket, some dirt, and some sand. So at the minute it's got the water bucket, it's got the dirt, so it must be waiting for sand. Now the sand is waiting for the tree farm to produce trees, so that it can then get the sand and bring the sand down into the waste, which there's a chest under here for the sand. And the automated system of it all. Let's see, have I got some sand left on me? No, I haven't. I've got an infinite sand generator, and this farm's waiting for sand. I may have to set up an infinite sand generator in here as well, just for this farm. Now the secret of this one's success, I've fixed it, because I did have a problem where the buckets would get going round constantly, and the aqueous accumulator doesn't want to be accepting full buckets. But it was accepting full buckets, but full buckets don't go anywhere. Whereas an empty bucket gets put straight through, filled up, and sent out into the chest. Like so, into the chest. So now I've got 2 full water buckets into the system. And that doesn't matter, because this here, this redstone engine, only pulls buckets out because of this gold AND gate when there's an item in the inventory, and when there's an empty bucket, it sends a redstone signal, which then powers the redstone engine, which pumps out the item back into the top slot of the liquid transposer, into the blue top spot. And of course we're set up with an aqueous accumulator, which is constantly keeping that full of water. So it's a simple system, and then it was constantly pumping out. Now this was before we had gates. The first gate we created was that gate there, and since then I've been using gates on a lot of designs. This generates peat, as you can see going down here. So the peat bog farm requires the sand from the tree farm and the dirt from dirt from this farm actually. Dirt from this farm comes down through the relay. It fills up this inventory first, hence why I've got all the slabs. Putting all the dirt in there first, making sure this is always full of dirt, and then the excess dirt gets sent off down underneath the engines and heads around here to the 2 machines over here. Now this is another thing that I've got to tidy up. I've been messing with the fabricators again. Fabricators need dirt to make the hummus. Lots and lots of dirt required, and because it's a slow process, we're only getting 2 profit, and it's not always working. So let's get this activated. At the minute, I've got it turned off, and it's currently got no compost. It's got no compost currently. Compost is made using ash, which we currently have a ton of, and also dirt. So we have another problem there, is we need more dirt to make the compost, to add more dirt to make the hummus. Over this side it's using fertilizer, and the fertilizer ready-made is coming from apatite and sand. Sand which we get plenty of as well, but not quite enough to keep the system running. So it's a lot of manual still here now. Manually just make the hummus every now and again. I could automate it, but I'm waiting for the whole system to be up and running properly. Now the hummus will head out onto the tree farms, and those sandy spots on the tree farms will get replaced with hummus and saplings, and then the sand will start flowing into the peat bog, and then the peat will be produced, run along here, and enter into the back of the first engine it comes across, the first available inventory, which means that the engines are constantly being filled up from this end, constantly filling up. Now at the minute, if we leave the farm for too long unattended, all the engines down to about here stay full, but eventually it runs out of sand, so it runs out of stock, so the peat isn't very quick and effective. I think I need to up my sand production because, well, the tree farm just isn't producing it fast enough to get the bog earth to make the peat fast enough, and so on. It is possible, I'm pretty sure it's all possible to get this as an infinite power supply. Not only an infinite power supply, but an infinite wood supply, an infinite wheat supply, an infinite apple supply, and loads of saplings as well. There's just a few little tweaks I've still got to do to the process to make sure it all works. This whole section here I could automate completely, so it's making compost from the ashes, and then making hummus off the compost and putting it through the system very quickly. And we've got a lot of apatite that we keep digging up and we're not using for anything other than this, so I can make a system just to accept any apatite that we mine and put it through this machine, making hummus as well. And this relay over here only takes hummus and only ejects it to inventories when it needs it, thanks to the pneumatic tubes, which is pretty awesome. I'm quite pleased how I've got it all working. I just know now that I've got a few little areas to tweak up just to make better and more efficient. The minimum stone, infinite minimum stones. We need infinite shards. And the only way I can see of getting shards is from killing mobs. So I've been creating something over here. This is your standard mob trap XP farm. At the minute, still needs a bit of design work, but I've got a lot of sandstone and a lot of sand, so I decided to use that as a building block. And I've created this mob spawner. We portal gunned a load of mobs, spawners, the other day. Dart and WNxTanhan Tanhan went and they grabbed some spawners from local areas, and I've just wired up the redstone lamps, the red power lamps today. And you get quite a wave of them coming down. I don't know if having 3 zombie spawners altogether is efficient, but who knows? It works. They're basically just taken up a water elevator, mob elevator, and then dropped down a shaft here. And then I can kill them with 1 or 2 hits at the minute. What I'm trying to do is get these turtles to kill them. But I don't know what the code is and what the programming is for that yet, so I'm doing some research. I also want them to pick up the shards when they're done, so that I don't have to come here and manually do it. Because as far as I can tell, the shards only appear when you kill the mobs. So I've got a shard. So getting the infinite shards could be possible if I can get the turtles to kill them, pick up the shard, and then deposit the shard into a chest next to it, and then have the chest teleport items to where I want to make infinite minimum shards. Right, I don't know how much I've got left of this episode, but I want to quickly show you the other side of the power thing that we've sorted out now. I've had a good clean up and sort out down here with our power supply. And as you can see, we're still using infinite lava from the nether. It's very full. Very full. And these magma engines are still pumping out all the power we're using. But now we've got the reserves. The creosote idea into a steam boiler tank is not going to work. Even though this creosote tank gets pretty full. If I can touch it. No, I can't get to it. But it gets pretty full. I'm going to go up here. Yeah, it gets 80,000 in it. But Tanhan is now getting into his railcraft, so this is actually pumping it all out of the Creo tank into Tanhan's place. And Tanhan then uses it for his railcraft, which is a more important thing to use it for, and we don't really make a lot of it. It relies on us getting a lot of coal. So, well, he can keep it. And it never really filled up that boiler. This boiler is moved over here now. I have moved it into here. And it is set up with an aqueous accumulator to keep it forever full of water, so it'll never overheat and explode, which steam boilers have a tendency to explode in your face if you leave them heating up without water. So this will never run out of water with this system. And from here you'll see that there's a pipe running into it, and this is from the biofuel tank. Biofuel, excuse the one missing block, I had to replace a block somewhere else. Biofuel is made in a still, and a still makes biofuel from biomass. And this little system, like the little gates auto-pumping out biofuel, receives the biomass from the tank next door, which at the minute is full again. So it pumps it out, pumps it directly in, then that is pumped directly into that tank through 2 stills. It's a slow process, but at the moment we have a very full couple of tanks, as you can see. And not only that, but the stills are full as well. And feeding into the biomass tank, we have 3 fermenters, and they're constantly full of saplings, it seems, because the farm is constantly producing saplings. Saplings come through teleport here, get ejected out, and go into the fermenters. We may see one come along any second now. And at the moment, because all the tanks are full, the fermenters aren't doing anything. They're not extracting power, and they're not doing anything. They're just holding there, waiting. And excess stock, which is currently running at nearly 8 stacks of saplings, have been excess stock since those 3 stacks got filled and the whole thing got done. Now, the idea with this, I've already mentioned before, is more a reserve power supply. So this steam tank here, this steam boiler, is going to be boiling up steam and putting it into a steam tank, a tank just containing steam, which a load of steam engines will be sitting waiting for. And you'll just switch a switch and turn the steam engines on, and that will give an extra boost of power to the system, all running just from excess saplings from the farm, recycling the saplings from the farm to give us an extra power boost when needed. Another really cool thing. Now we have, I'm just making sure no one's looking, nobody's watching that's on the server, so it's okay. We have another little infinite loop for the lava. Gotta love lava. Everything infinite lava, everything infinite loop. Just here, I have a centrifuge connected directly to the lava, pumping out up into our chests above. Now, some of you may know that an industrial centrifuge can centrifuge lava into copper, which has been so needed in everything that we've been doing. Electrum, which has been very needed for all the tesseract action. Tin, half a stack of tin there, look, just waiting to be pumped out. And tungsten dust, which is very endgame. But GregTech, thank you. Thank you, GregTech. We love you. We have an infinite supply of copper, electrum, tin, and tungsten. An infinite supply. We can just keep filling chest after chest while we've got lava coming in. We have copper being produced constantly. Now, we don't need any more right now. I've got a ton of it upstairs. But it's there for when we start running low on supplies. It's all about infinity. Infinite automation. That's what I like about Feed the Beast the most. But I'm fairly content with not having high tech over here. I think we've got the materials and the capacity to have high tech stuff everywhere you go. But this village is just not the place for it. This village, we need to have a little bit more low tech, I think. It doesn't look like it's a high tech place, does it? The village is just basic, simple, and that's what I wanted on the surface. And I just want to have all of the equipment we may need on our adventures. The adventures are where it's at, you see. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to go. So, until next time, folks, this is Nemsun in Utopia, once again, signing off. Oh, and it's sweet. Oh, you love each other. Bye, guys.